B. If you want to find out what happened last time to justify the B, go back and watch the last part 1 of part 2 cliffhanger episode review lives part 2 last year, and that's why we had different haircuts and everything, right? That's tell you what's happening. Yep.
Sure.
Exactly.
Today we're here to talk about two-parter episodes, or in some cases maybe 3-parters.
Oh.
Because some are 3-parters, right? You know, as
Yes.
Dan pointed out.
Well, and as I was skimming, like DS9 at the end's bloody 13-parter. So there's this, right? There's a little bit of that going on. I'm certainly not just limiting this to episodes of the same name, because some stories are clearly part 1 and part 2, right? So that is a 2-parter story, if not the same name split.
Yeah.
So.
And Dan says TOS only has 1. They don't have any 2-parters in TOS. So
Menagerie.
it's not a 2-parter, really. It's just a cage.
But it's 2 episodes.
Yeah, but it also wasn't a season-ending cliffhanger.
Mid-season. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like oh god, Shade of... No. Yeah, it's Shade of... No, what's the one with the one I did dislike? It's like 8 minutes of new footage? In TNG, sorry. The one where Riker gets bitten and then we have to recycle all the footage.
It's Shades of Grey.
Oh, this is Grey. Yeah, I mean, you know. But Menagerie has some minutes of new content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, obviously at the time you hadn't seen Cage, so it would have been a bloody impressive 2-parter. It's like, wow, they filmed a whole new episode? Cast a whole new actors? Doesn't really work in retrospect, but I wasn't trying to. Alright, I'm gonna get sharing!
Okay. That tells me tell you guys to hit that like button and hit the like button. There are 19 of you here, which is awesome. 12 likes, which is great. 13 now. But hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell icon so you get notified every time we do a live or do an edited video. We love having you guys with us and being part of the community and just hanging out with you guys and chatting. We have a lot to talk about here about all things Star Trek, so make sure you're part of the team. Subscribe. Also, you can join the channel. There's a join option there, as well as over on Patreon/Trekyards. That's 2 ways that you can support us on a monthly basis, should you wish to. Get your name in the credits and all that stuff. So it's helps us out immensely. But also just simply hitting the like button or super chatting in during a live all helps out. I apologize for the running water because I just hate it. Anyway, but it all helps out. And so anything you can do, even sharing the content around to fellow Trek fans that might not have heard of us, please do that. Let's grow the community. And yeah, we're coming up on 10 years next month. So let's see how we can do growing that community. So help us out in any way you can. There are also links down below to the TeePublic and the Teespring store. Check those out. There's some cool Trekyards merch there, as there always is. Just check the description. There's links to my personal channel. There's links to Sam's fan film channels. There's a lot of stuff down in the description, so check that out. Wesley Healy says, Trekyards STLV 2024 recap and story time. I just watched the playback. I enjoyed that. You enjoyed our Trekyards? Thank you. Go check out if you want to see the day-by-day content, it's over on the Captain Floyd personal channel. There's a whole STLV 2024 playlist. So check it out.
All the stuff in there. A lot of adventures to be had. And of course our first interview came out yesterday with the Tomy guys, which is our few 4K renders. So if you're interested in how the Tomy model looks and you've got a big screen, this thing would look really good blown up on that screen. You can really see the minutia, and it's a really good interview. You get lots of unique things, and I edited it down so there's no pauses. It's a very dense 14 minutes. It's very, very dense with information. It's like a 29-minute interview, but we edited it down to a really dense piece of content. So watch it and have fun.
Mark Lawrenson, spent a good chunk of the day yesterday watching all 7 parts of the STLV reports, even though I was there.
Yes.
You saw yourself multiple times, I'm sure.
Did you learn anything new? I bet you did.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, I love it.
And Chuck A, who couldn't make it to STLV, said STLV videos were great. So thank you. Glad you enjoyed them. Sorry you couldn't be there. I would have loved to have met you.
Yes. But hopefully the next time we are there. Not next time, but the next time we are there.
Yes. So yeah, this is a viewer's choice one, guys. As you guys know, if you throw in a $5 super chat, you get to tell us which two-parter you'd like to look at. We do have a bunch of them ready to go, which should be ones you might think of, but I can already see a lot that are absent. So I'm hoping you guys have some good suggestions for that. Yeah, put them in. We will talk about it and rank them according to their quality as well as in contrast to one another. And the time they were, the era they were released. It's all a whole thing. It's a discussion, and you're part of it. So we love the community, and we love hanging out with you guys. So be sure to chime in, even in the regular chat, or just super chatting in does support us and helps us out immensely. So
yes. Huzzah. Read the poll, Stuart, my man.
No. Who did the best two-part stories? Only two-part. Voyager, Enterprise, TNG, or DS9?
I know. So yeah, like this is we're ranking them. How are we judging these? Because obviously they're all gonna be bigger. That's kind of the point. A lot of them are obviously, well, they're all, I suppose, as in they're all a season opener and a series closer. So those are gonna have certain weight that other shows wouldn't. But if you have 7 years of a show and therefore a end two-parter and a mid two-parter, that's at least two per season. That's a lot per show, so they are going to vary a bit. I've included some classics, of course, at least one from each show. I have included Discovery, although I didn't realise they don't actually say the name of the episode in the episode, or at least in the, or they do it the title. So look, I was in the zone of all the other shows. Did they do it before the title card then, as in before the post title card?
No, should be after the.
Yeah, I couldn't see it in the spot that it was meant to be. Maybe it's before, in the actual title sequence, but then I have to remember that every time.
No. It's after the title sequence.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. So we're going to ignore that for a moment. We've got some stuff of each one. Now, does any episodes of specifically... Do any of these wow-s in your head, not necessarily on this list, but like you like, that is an incredible two-parter that deserves to be both great television and greatness?
Not really. I mean, let's be fair. A lot of TNG episodes could have been 2 parts because the last 4 minutes of the episode was like, hey, problem solved. Bye, guys. Even though the problem was solved.
And a lot of the ideas they could have developed in a really exciting way had it been 2-parter. Even some silly ones like, I think it was part yesterday, where they get mind wiped and have to go attack a less advanced civilization, and they got to be tricked by a rather good guest actor, or the time guy. The doctor person who's not the future but he's got future ship. These are really interesting concepts you could make 2-part if you add more layers. Yeah.
And Olivia throws in our first super chat of the day. Thank you, $5. My favorite 2-parter is the 2-part of Sam's ears. They could have been 1 part, but they split to become 2. Now I'm done picking on Sam.
C. That gets a C from me. But I did have to think about it. Hi, Sven. I had to think about it for a second. One that does jump to me, I think, and it is on this initial thing, but I want to say Year of Hell would jump to me as a non all good things, right? Because that's sort of different in its own terms. That was like the definitive closing episode anyway. But Year of Hell instantly stands out to me as being something special because it was such a commitment to the bit. Most 2-parters, they introduce new things or they reuse. Year of Hell, they actually destroy almost all the sets, progressively, radically worse, to the point where you really can't recognise the ship anymore. And that's a big effort to do and then undo. As well as great CG, as well as great characters, as well as great story, as well as great pacing, as well as great depth. That, for me, stands out as being like they fully committed. So it felt, in a way, many fans wanted to see that, the equivalent of that and I've said many a time, had that actually been like the first 2 years, just Voyager getting more and more damaged every week, so by the end of season 2, the thing's a husk, it's like, you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want that. You think you want that, but you don't. You may want half a season, but you want it to be fine again. You'd be very... yeah, you wouldn't want that.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your question, though, I mean, when I hear Star Trek two-part, automatically my brain says best of both worlds. And
hence the thumbnail.
I know, right? And that's because that was the first time there was a cliffhanger in Star Trek. And I was there for that. And it's like, people were pissed at the time. I remember reading like reviews in Starlog and stuff like, you don't have to do a cliffhanger like that to have us come back to watch Star Trek. Star Trek doesn't need cliffhangers. It was a big fucking deal. And they had written themselves into a corner with the ending a little, with the way they ended it. And not really, I guess they didn't have a super great plan as to what they were going to do for the next part. But yeah, I remember that being a huge deal. So anytime I hear Star Trek and two-parter, instantly I think of best of both worlds. And then I start to move out from that and kind of go, oh yeah. And then I go, there's so many. But I don't know if that makes any sense. But I was like 14, 15 when that happened. So I remember the outrage of seeing that dun, 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 fire. And it's like, now we got to wait how many months? That pissed a lot of people off. Very impactful, but...
I mean, we've talked about that since. That really worked best at the time.
Yeah,
I mean, since reviewed it, it's a great first part and a mediocre second part. And you can really sense the, the lack of plan, because, of course, they didn't know if Patrick was going to come back, and they'll obviously change the storyline, because he's, the premise of the storyline, give or take. What they do with Picard. But, yeah, certainly unusual, and, the fact they did not know...
Yeah,
is the flair that gives the episode that weight. They actually had to groom Shelby to be a possible replacement. Oh no, right? But we have our first actual on the board. Who have we got and what is it?
It's Ray Ricks with 5 pounds. He says, one of my favorite for TNG was Time's Arrow. Good, simple time travel.
Time's Arrow.
Yes. Data's head in a cavern. Or a cave. And Mark Twain. You get to see Guinan in the past as well on Earth, which is really cool. But yeah, this was a very interesting one, I gotta say. I got to meet the... what are the aliens?
Davidians.
So Vidians, yeah.
Which I only know because they're in Stowe the first few levels. And then it's like, you gotta deal with them. Because I restarted the game 4 times for various technical reasons, so I kept under the damn level. The Davidians.
I mean...
Now, Ray, why is it in your favourite? I want to know as well why you're here.
Well, it's a good one for me because it incorporates time travel. The fact that Data's head is that old, that it was sitting there that long, is interesting in and of itself. It's a great plot device. It was just... And one of the most favorite TNG moments for me is in that episode where it's like we were on a ship together. A clipper ship? No, a starship. Oh, Mr. Data. It made me laugh. It is a memorable moment for me, where she's kind of covering up the fact that she isn't from Earth and then pulls Data aside. I think that's hilarious. And then Mark Twain, of course, overhearing. So yeah, it's an interesting episode. It's kind of an unsatisfactory ending, though. It's not super great, but it incorporates some of my favorite things like time travel, and the mystery of the Data's head in a cave is kind of a cool idea, and just understanding how old that is now. And he gets that head put back on, doesn't he? Like his head is technically...
because he doesn't lose the head because it's a time mishap,
Okay.
isn't it?
I thought they had to reattach. Anyway, I can't remember exactly right off the top here, but I just think that's a really interesting premise, and it was a great cliffhanger idea. But yeah, it didn't quite pay off in the end, but I'm glad they gave this one. It wasn't just a single episode,
Yeah, for me, this one's an odd one because if you wrote it down on paper, it would sound great, but it's odd for me. Good idea. a lot of scenes are good, but I do remember thinking, it not feels cheap, but all the Twain stuff, it feels like a mid-brow period drama, and kind of not, they didn't Trekify it enough. Whereas kind of Signature Forever kind of still has a certain something versus this. But of course, Gunn's great in it, Twain's great in it as well. But those scenes aren't quite as compelling. Just see Data in a hotel room for a bit. They don't quite have the pop I think they intended to have. And while he's still compelling, it's only okay.
But Jack London was the bellman, bellboy.
Excellent. This one never
Ray Rick says it reattached his head in the cave. So his head's like far older than his body. After that point.
Wow. So B4's like, brother, why is your head 12 times older than I am? Nothing. What? Do you think I had to update his drivers after that? 'Cause they're out of date. Yeah, for me this one is decent, but it doesn't quite work with me. And maybe there's literally no space stuff. There's no aliens. I mean, there is, but there isn't. There's a lack of the stuff I love in the Star Treks, the stars and the Trek part. I don't know. I'd give this one a mid-C. I think this is pretty middle of the road for me. I like the concept, but not love the execution. And of course, now we've got the problem with Sartre Picard kind of ruining the Guinan, because either she's a huge hypocrite here, or she's a hugely annoying hypocrite later.
Well,
same character.
This is the real one.
Well, just saying.
Don't even bring Picard into that.
I'm just saying.
Discussion.
I don't know, what would you have said? Because I took that over a little bit. What would you say?
I would have said a C, because the ending is unsatisfactory in my opinion. It's a good benchmark to start with, because they're much better, and one or two worse. I can think of one worse right off the hop.
I'm interested to think what failures there are in two-parter, because for the most part, Trek managed to make the money feel more. So I'm interested to see what you guys throw us as being like, that didn't quite work. I don't know what's going to get there. Now, Ray, if you disagree, you know what to do. That's just our opinion.
Olivia Julius, $5. Voyager, The Killing Game, Part 1 and 2 was pretty good in my opinion. At least there was a decent storyline. Yes. You have the Herodian have taken over the ship and have converted the holodecks. You got World War II shit going on. There's a lot to unpack with that one. So,
yeah, this one was such a bold choice by them. Again, on paper, let's make Herodian Nazis take over and almost destroy Voyager, and have entirely separate subplots with every character because it's fun. And give them all two different characters each, because they all kind of play themselves and their own unique character. And have, I assume it was the Fairhaven set redressed, like I don't know, or they just go to it's a lot of location work if they are. Yeah, it's a lot to do, and I like the Herodian. I love the holographic technology. They just fight. They can hunt, and after killing the thing, it's actually a very humane way of doing hunting, right?
Yeah.
And giving Kim such a strong role is great. He not always gets the front end of the stick, and he gets a lot in this. And again, they really take the theme to the extreme, and it has that beautiful. Whereas the last one, this is kind of time travel, but it's not. This has so much sci-fi thrown in as well to kind of keep amping it up. The only Trek can do this is such a Trek unique story, like so many layers of this. A Trek. Yeah, I really enjoy this one as just a bold thing to do.
Yeah, and you get to see Neelix as a Klingon. You get to see some odd things in this, which are nice. And I love the idea of a two deck tall holodeck.
No, it's like 4. It's like they convert loads of rooms. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know, but like just.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that conversion process is interesting, and it ends interestingly enough with them just getting a holodeck equipment. Here you go, guys. Stop fucking with our stuff. We'll give you some. Which kind of breaks the Prime Directive. Hashtag Janeway did nothing wrong,
Look,
but still.
They had real bad days. They had to deal with it somehow.
Yeah.
Now, this is really creative, I think. And the Herodian is a great makeup as well. Is there anything that I don't think it doesn't do super well? I think if I recall correctly, the middle is not the best paced part, but that's oh no, well, the problem the middle is not as good as it could be, right? I think the ending's very big, too dark for me actually light-wise, but it makes sense. And the intro is really great. I think when fake Paris comes in, the American stuff happens. That kind of it's too in on the bit at that point for me, if I recall. But I really like all the stuff with Kim. I think is really good, really fun to see him do that. I think the Doctor's in there. He like reactivates him since there's layers to it. It's quite a dense episode of story. I'm trying to think of all the little sub-things, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah. And anytime we can bring World War II in. I mean, Star Trek does that quite often, and I think this is one of the more better done ones, even though it's not actually World War II, but you know what I mean? Like, they got that theme going on.
And they also have the Nazi actor as a very well reused character actor in Trek. He played one, the Borg one.
He played Hugh, yeah. Was not Hugh.
One.
Was he? His name was One?
Yeah. And other things, and he's really good. And he's good in this. Yeah. No, I really like this one. I still think it finds a ceiling of quality, and it doesn't go past that. Whereas other ones are really like super special spark. Personally, I'd give this a very respectable mid to high B.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, really standoutish in terms of Voyager, but doesn't quite. Yeah, I don't know how I would have improved it, but I enjoy it. It's a good one. I mean, it's fun. I mean, talk about weird, right? I mean, it's easy to summarize.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like the way it ends with, like, here's holodeck technology.
Hopefully we can stop this, you chase us for the tech and we say no, and then you chase us and you almost kill us all. We're going to give in, because...
Yeah, but no means no, so stop bothering us. Yeah. JW, £5. In keeping with your video yesterday, I rewatched Descent Part 1 and 2 and agree the battle was pretty rubbish. However, what do you think of Descent?
This is great.
Okay, this is...
It's super great.
This is one of... Well, go back and watch our review of it. We did review that, not that... Well, it has been a while, but...
Yes.
It's one of the more recent reviews.
Yeah, it was actually one of our first ones, because Picard said, watch Descent as part of the lead-in, and so we did. And we're like, oh.
We regretted doing that.
Descent is great. Stuart, what do you think of Descent as a two-parter? Because I only look at two-parters, which is an interesting way of looking at them in comparison. How does it fare?
Not very well. This one has an interesting premise, and I mean, Laura has some good shine-through moments in it. Beverly gets some standout moments, which is great. Overall, though, again, it didn't hit the mark. It had such potential to be really great, and I'm trying to remember what the fuck happens beside the standout
Stuart,
moments.
it's boring.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say in a fancy way. Yeah, I mean, there you go. It's boring. Got a new Borg ship out of the deal, though, so I mean, that's something.
Is it Borgering? No, that's something else.
Oh, we're still on the thumbnail, by the way. Nobody's seen anything the entire time, even though we've had pictures for each. Sam is fired.
Look, Ellen said. God damn it! That's the problem with doing the show in the show. Sorry, guys. That was my bad. It has nothing to do with that. I do apologise. Edit. Oh, you can't.
But anyway, yeah, it's just...
Yeah, we've done this every time we put the two episodes. Yeah.
This is probably second worst two-parter in my opinion.
Well, so this suffers on plenty of things. They said, right, now I like the set. I like the main entryway set, or the second picture. That's a good set. But they said, right, what do we have? We have the budget to do it on location, make it different. Cool. With all these Borg costumes we can use. Cool. And we have Brent, who's eager to do two things. Cool. But you take the Borgness away from the Borg, and you make them kind of... They almost feel like actors walking around in rubber suits. They weirdly lose they lose the something that they need, and I see them run around with guns. It isn't fun to watch, and it could be, and it isn't, which is weird. You could have had them still be menacing, but when they just sort of like they're really chaotic in their movements, and it's so unlike Borg. It's not interesting. Law is good, but his unceremonious end. Hugh is super wasted, which is a shame. And there's some really weird pacing issues. This for me. I like the Data bit in part 1 a lot, feeling the anger. That's really good character work, and Law's great, and Beverly is excellent. That's a really good subplot, but it's still going to get a D for me, because it is not a good story. It is not well told, and those are kind of important aspects of a story. Shocking.
Well, it is called Descent, and it is descending to the lowest so far on the chart, out of all the other ones so far. We had nice visuals for the other ones too, so I apologize, guys.
And it's funny because, again, on paper, this one sounds excellent. Law's back. There's Renegade Borg. Where? Yeah. And it just fails.
Mark Lawrence, though, $5. Voyager Scorpion 1 and 2. Just rewatched it with my daughter, as she wants to watch Voyager.
Yes.
After seeing Prodigy.
What are we saying?
That, and we get John Rhys Davies. Yes,
we do.
Yeah.
A very unsung several episode cameo-ness. Yeah, was she scared of Scorpion? Because there's some pretty things in Scorpion. It ain't a light trip.
Well, this is where we first meet 709, of course, and evil Borgified 709, which I can't say I remember a lot about.
So this is
Scorpion.
Species 8472.
Okay, yeah.
They're destroying Borg,
yeah.
And they have to make a treaty to get through Borg space, and they offer killing 8472. They have fluidic space. They get betrayed. There you go with it.
Yeah. So it introduces a lot of new things. We get new ships. We get new species. We get fluidic space, and a deal with the Borg. Working out a deal with the Borg for like the first time is interesting. But then the conundrum of, do you want to kill this other species from fluidic space? Because is that what we do?
We kill now? We kill now.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched this one, I gotta say. And I do remember liking it, because this is kind of the send. Oh, it's getting to the point where we kick Kess off the ship and get 709 in. So
that is the end, yeah. Or is that next week? Next week? Next
I think
time?
It's the following week. Following week, yeah. But yeah, this is I think I know where I want to place it, but I know you're a bigger Voyager fan, so I'd like to know your minutia on this one. Your thoughts.
Well, this is memorable to me for a few reasons. Partially because they really... I mean, this would have been after First Contact, so they have now sets and props and costumes. So the production value is really spot on for, like, we can throw what we want to throw at screen without minimizing... well, we can't afford 7 Borg. Yeah, we can. We got them in stock. Great, cool. And doing the Borg in at all was a big risk. And then to do this many curveballs on the Borg was really interesting and exciting. And I do remember seeing it for the first time, not at screening, but this would have been a Voyager movie story had they had movies. They're in the Delta Quadrant. There's new Borg hitting threat here. Their bio. This is a movie storyline. And it's told at TV budget, but it's still pretty big and do some really core things.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that I think when Chakotay, because Janeway's knocked out, and then Chakotay takes over, and they have to like renegotiate with the Borg, and then they're all falling out of like, you shouldn't negotiate with them, but the crew, it's really interesting stuff actually for this show that is not known for character work. So much character work in this episode, and so much good like dark stuff that has repercussions. Like, turns out these two parters Voyager does really freaking well. And of course Seven's excellent as both the sex symbol and as the Borg and as everything in between. Jerry's brilliant in this. No, this one's really good. And the creature's really good. A472, great CG. Really, really, really good. I think did they win an Emmy for this? Or was that later? I think this one might have won a VFX Emmy because it's really, really good.
I think it did, yeah.
Yeah. I think personally I would give this an A. because the amount of stuff they are going for and do right, and how big those themes are, is very impressive. Considering how small like Descent is, and some other TNG episodes, it's people talking in rooms. This is a full-blown action adventure with massive space things for the time, loads of makeup, loads of sets. It's really big for a TV show budget. I really want to commend them, because I think this should be an A for me.
So, in your opinion, why doesn't this deserve S tier then?
Don't know. Wasn't on my radar.
I was going to say S tier. As far as Voyager goes, this is, I think, a standout one.
Okay, what?
I just don't know what wouldn't make it an S tier, because it's got everything. It's got, like you said, really fantastic effects.
No, yeah,
new species, new ships, new premise of fluidic space. Like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I think there are obviously other great Voyager two-parters. This one doesn't even slow down in terms of pace, which some can.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what. For the groundbreaking, like for Trek level CG, go for an S, because this really pushed. And again, I would love to see this as a movie. This has been a great movie. And then to end a movie with a new cast member, you're like, oh damn, you didn't kill the wow, she's still here? Crap, that's cool. Hey, okay, you got me.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking, like S, and I figured you'd probably say S too, and then you didn't, and you screwed.
Well, I try not to love Fest Voyager too much. So I appreciate the. Yeah, I think I do think it's really good. And yeah, when you start comparing to other, mostly TNG, but even Enterprise ones, I mean, this has so much more weight than the Enterprise ones.
Yeah. Yeah, introduction of a new character, getting rid of another character that has been with us for a few years. It's an interesting turning point, this one. So
yeah. Which they knew, so obviously that's sending Cass out with a Nice. Okay. Cool.
All right. So next up, we've got Fleet Paw with $20. Thank you so much, Fleet Paw.
Beautiful.
Absolutely love unskippable fucking ads. And just spend that $20 you sent us on a month of YouTube Premium. $15. I got it. You'll never go back. Anyway, they're really pushing YouTube Premium, aren't they? Yes, and so did I, apparently.
They're paying you, yeah. Crazy.
Never fear, Fleet Paw is here. DS9's Improbable Cause, and the die is cast. I remember the write-up I did for the Romulan uniforms.
Ah. That's not what I thought it was going to be, so I like this one more. Well, I mean, obviously these ones don't necessarily say everything, but we just want to include the names, of course. But
yeah. Oh yes, this one bugs me.
Ooh, I like it.
Well, this is where they go to the Delta or to the Gamma Quadrant. No, Gamma Quadrant, looking for the. Well, we find out it's Garrick's dad. And Garrick actually has to torture Odo, which really bothers me. I have a real issue with torture stuff. And I don't know how the two made up after this because, well, yeah, I guess. I don't know how the two made up after this because he really put him through his paces, even though he was saying, Odo, just tell us what we need to know or make something up. I want to stop doing this. It really bugs me, this one. And then, is this the one where it ends where the fleet gets annihilated?
Yup.
So, yeah, this one, it's got a lot of cool stuff, don't get me wrong, but that scene in particular always kind of bothers me. So, but yeah, it's fantastic acting on everybody's part. Garrick and Odo do fantastic. We still don't know if Inabram Tain is actually Garrick's father or if he's not. It's kind of ambiguous for a lot of it.
Yeah. Until the.
But it's interesting, the dynamic between the two. So, yeah, this is a great one, actually. Yeah.
It's more low key than it has a right to be, because again, you summarize the episode. The joint forces of the Romulans and Cardassians are sending the biggest fleet ever to go annihilate the Founders. But actually what it's about is this character pairing and doing some nasty things and some really implied father-son stuff. So it's odd. The premise is giant, but actually in DS9 fashion, it's a really small story, which I don't think services the overall story super well, because that is, they do it, they get killed, and then the escape is a huge part of the story. Versus the Voyager one, where the story is also a big part of the story. Isn't it? The equivalent would be if the Voyager hunting game was all the stuff that happens, but really this is about Seven not liking Janeway in a pub for 20 minutes, like properly, like just dedicated. It's like, well, I mean, it's interesting, but it's not. You're not using the sci-fi premise super well. But as I say, the acting, all excellent. I mean, the makeup was absolutely horrible, in a good way. I like to see a proper Deredex bridge, but it also feels cheap as hell because it's like we need a bridge, but we don't want to spend money on it because the CG budget's huge. Fair. I love the reveal at the end of the foundling actor who's the captain of the ship. That's a nice reveal because it makes it a second watch really different. Obviously, you know they're all going to die, but knowing he's watching over and he's very anti-changeling, which is kind of fun. It gives them it adds that level of they can say whatever they need to win, which actually is almost more powerful than they are to win the scenario, because then they just, they can do whatever. And he's a good character actor too. I remember the guy. I have no memory of what happened on DS9. I have no memory of anything else apart from this plot, which is not a good thing because this is not the whole episode. They don't just walk away and do this subplot. So I have to check. What is the DS9 part of the plot?
That's a good question. I don't even know. I have no idea.
And that's not a good thing
again. No,
because that's going to be half the episode. Yeah, because they don't get to this interesting stuff until the second episode. The first episode is Garrick and it's just stuff happens and then they get here, so that's not a good sign. Yeah, we're 38 minutes in and we finally get to the main plot. Obviously, we lead into it, but that's
yeah. In my opinion, this could have been one-parter or or not specifically a two-parter, but like over the course of 2 or 3 episodes, kind of like the serialized way to do things.
Or it could have been the lead up was like the subplot of the first episode, and then the real episode was the second part. But it's still, yeah. And the fact that I didn't remember most of the storyline is not a good thing. Whereas all these other ones, very memorable.
Yes. Yeah. I want to say B for this one. Personally, as much as it's like I said, the acting's fantastic, especially from Andrew Robinson, who plays Garrick, and the dynamic between him and Odo, how it kind of it should shift at this point moving forward, and it does for like a few episodes, and then it's just kind of forgotten about. But
see, my gut says high C. The fact that so much of it is unmemorable, except part 2, is not a good thing. And the only stands out for 2 scenes: this torture and the shooting at the end. So I think it should be a C because it doesn't succeed as a 2-part; it succeeds as a 1-part story. That's my vote. Like, it's near a B, but I would still say high C.
Okay.
Like, Killing Game's way better, right? Of course, that's like a high B, but that would be my. Someone wants to move it, but that's or we can make them decide. But that's my vote there.
No, I think that's probably fair. Yeah. Good arguments. Okay, well.
Fun debates.
And his next one is The Die is Cast.
That's the 2-part. He mentioned both names. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Ray Ricks, £5. The intro of Worf to DS9 and the tone shift for the series, The Way of the Warrior.
I already had that one prepped. Hey! Finally, something I can just sit back and enjoy and relax and talk to you about.
Yes. What better way to deal with Klingons than with a Klingon?
Yeah.
And I know this caused some ripples on set because they're like, what do they think we're not good enough to replace us with this,
Yep.
more popular show guy to boost, like, what's going on? But it actually paid off very well. And Worf
did it pay off well? Yes, it did.
Worf didn't take over as much as he could have necessarily. So I mean, yeah, this is where the action bumps up for DS9. This is where it gets really good, in my opinion. You got Sisko with the bald head and the goatee now, and seeing Gowron back. Gowron is fantastic. So yes, there's a lot to. Yes, this one's great. I don't know. Yeah. Your thoughts.
Yeah.
Please jump in.
So this is, this is a special one for loads of, as you just said, but this is a really satisfying Klingon episode in general, and they really said, hey, we're going to bring the Klingons in and do them to the absolute nth degree in a way that TNG couldn't really, and commit the full movie. This is I would still say a TV movie's feeling, because it's actually still, a lot of this is a very small episode, character work, but it has the giant insane battle at the end, and because Worf Michael Dorn is so on his game here, because he was used to being relegated to a side character a lot of the time, here he is such a front and centre, acting against, as I was thinking but didn't say, bringing Garon in means, unlike some of the other two-parters where we're going to introduce a new person who we are interested, but by having a pre-existing one with all the legacy behind that, you get to have all this extra texture for $0 ostensibly, because we know who he is and the weight and boom and backstory, right? Plus, it's really fun to see him in the TNG uniform. It's a dumb thing to enjoy, but to see him walk around for an episode and then swap at the end and swap into gold to red, quite crazy but true. Yeah, this battle at the end is fantastic. They commit a lot for that. It's really good to see Martok's first appearance. Although he is a changeling, so no, but yes, but no. And not knowing how important he'd be and how much like J.G. Hertzler, etc., was a really good thing. And seeing them also do scenes talking in Klingon and having just those vibes and how well they sell it is really good. And even the simpleness, because we like Klingons, right? So for me, I like just Worf just guilting an old friend to telling him the secret by drinking and singing. And that's a fun scene. It wouldn't work in lots of the characters. Like, if that was Kira with an old Bajoran buddy, I wouldn't give a shit. Sorry. Not in the same way. Or a marquee thing, it wouldn't work. But that just works because you get layers of fun. So all this stuff is great. Doesn't quite like the miniature stuff we talked about yesterday. In fact, no shields. There's some flaws in the logic that come across.
Yeah.
Which for me take that a little bit down a bit. But that's a me thing, right? Most fans wouldn't necessarily notice or care. As you've said for years, this is when DS9 gets good.
Really good, yes.
Like it's okay to good before this. This is now skip, hit, start here, TNG to this, boom, your rise will be much better. That's for a reason, right?
Yeah. This one I want to give. I'm thinking an A. Because there are better two-parters than this, and this kicks off the good DS9, brings back a fan favorite. Oh my goodness.
See, I would say that this is a very high A, but it still feels like a TV two-parter. Scorpion feels like a movie that's in two parts, and that's the secret sauce to elevate it above, right? Because an A is a very respectable thing to be, right? I think as good as this is, it's got a lot of A and only some S. But it's right there. But I would still say a really, really high A.
Yes.
Okay. I like it. And if you disagree, tell us with a super chat. Because you do have the power. You have the power. Yes.
Anyway, not a bad account member for 30 months at the rank of ensign. It says, Inamir Darkly, Enterprise actors had fun in it. Yes, they did. And so did we as viewers had fun in it. Not only bringing back the Mirror Universe before it sucked. Well, it kind of sucked in DS9, let's be fair. But anyway, bringing back the real Mirror Universe and getting to see some TOS Connie love, not only exterior shots, but also interior, plus seeing the doppelgangers for all of our crew, and have the other Archer talking in his ear, essentially, once you found out about the other Archer.
You always forget about that, because it's such a small part, but it's such a powerful little part. Yeah.
Mayweather, with his widow's peak hairstyle, looks so much better. You should have kept that. I'm just saying. And we also get a CGI Gorn for the first time, which was interesting. And also the use of the grav plating in that scene in particular was great. Seeing areas of the TOS Connie that you never saw before maintaining that primary colors, yellow, red, and blue kind of conduits. It was really great. First part was, I think the second part's better for me personally because of the TOS love, but because we get to see the ship and stuff. First part is also fantastic. Again, the Tholians causing trouble. Those goddamn Tholians.
Sorry, Stuart.
Like Tholians. I mean, I do like Tholians.
PTSD, man.
Well, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Truth.
But no, this showed right here that TOS could be done in a modern way and look fantastic and still super futuristic, not look like cheap 1960s sets. Modern day lighting, modern day filming techniques work beautifully on this bridge, and the overall story, the package pulling in the Defiant from TOS, it just, there's so much in this episode. The episodes, sorry. It's great. And to see a Diamond Select phaser on screen, because that's what they used. So, yeah, this is fantastic. This is gold star, in my opinion. This is a Star Trek fan's wet dream here. So,
and it's funny because they did TNG and TOS in the same season. Had they both been middle of the season, or more cleverly done, they would have had more. Or even this has been the last episode and just ended on this ridiculous, we're doing just like that's the kind of this is a movie, right? It's really close to being a movie. It's big, it's bold. They commit to a lot of new sets because they've got a lot of the new sets. They don't just build a single piece; they build a lot of pieces.
And to Paul's midriff, I mean, hey.
I did pick these shots because that's what you remember from the episode. So toned. No, this is the best episode of Enterprise in terms of a story and the way it's framed, the effort. You can feel the dripping love of everything in this.
This is their trials and tribulations.
Yes. They're saying it forever. In terms of that's probably the Degra one. But this is just so good. And it's creative, it's interesting. To kill the NX, to bring back Forrest, you've already killed her early in the season. To bring him back is great. So Vol gets to play. You get lovely anti-Vulcan racism. It explore that, which is unusual in the story. The Connie gets to be a hero. Which TOS, it never gets to do anything interesting, really, because of the CG limitations. Here, they're just having the most fun having it do stuff. Now, structurally as a story, for me, this suffers a bit. Part 1 is wonderfully structured and paced, leading to an incredible end of part 1. Like, it's properly absolutely incredible. And it commits fully to the bit. And the fact that the cold open's glorious, the end's glorious. And the fact that there's no prime whatsoever is so fresh. Because I saw this one live. It's one of the few I saw, I remember. And it was we were all like, Zephyr and what? And they made the title sequence for free, if I believe. That was a purely, let's do it in our spare time. That's the love and effort we put in. But then part 2, where it should sing, they spend a third of it standing still, trying to deal with the Gorn. Which is a good concept, but it takes out a third of your episode doing not the most interesting possible, and then you sort of meander a bit. If they'd kept the pace of part 1 to part 2 had been stronger, you feel very distinct, and the pace slows to a crawl, and then back up again, and they kill him. So there's a bit of a pacing issue at the end of part 2, for me. That's also part of the story. But seeing them steal the clothing is great. Seeing the TOS crew on the floor, it being a sequel, the Foley, it's almost far in every single they possibly can. And this is probably one of my top 3 rewatch Trek episodes of all time. I just can rewatch it again and again. There's so much fun in this. What do you think, Stuart? Where are you gonna put it?
It's an S tier.
Stuart, this is an S tier. Yeah, and it does deserve it. There's so much, effort into this. As you say, they made TOS look fresh. And the Connie looks better than TOS. I'm sorry. It does. It's not difficult because of 1960s miniature, but it does look pretty good.
Yeah.
And they really tried. So it's a love letter in so many ways, so many things.
Yep.
Yeah. Really good episode.
Ozzy throws in $2 and says, best Lower Decks season finally. I think you mean finale. But which one? Which Lower Decks season finale?
There's only $2 anyway, so...
Yeah. Not a band account. Gifted 1 Trekyards membership. And I didn't see the who, so sorry, I'd have to scroll back up to see that. Let me do that real quick.
Who has
so
joined
Donnie has got membership. Yay! Awesome. Mark Lawrence, $5. Voyager Basics 1 and 2. They got their money's worth out of Brad Dorff. Retaking the ship with only the Doctor. Finally, someone that can fire a weapon. Basics.
Yeah. One I already prepped. Huzzah!
What?
I know!
Way.
I was trying to think of ones that people wouldn't necessarily say, and therefore, when they said it, I could be satisfied. So here I am, and I'm satisfied.
He's satisfied, everybody.
Fair. I'll go first on this one. So I quite like this one because it really does the Kazon properly, in that they have a plan, they do the plan, they're smart-ish, they are ruthless, they win, and they keep winning until the end, when they only are not win because the poorest guy sacrificed himself, which is pretty rare in these sort of shows. So it's a really high-stakes game. And also you get the landing. Gorgeous, beautiful, super well done. Even now, that's great. That's a really good composite for an entirely fake shot. Yes, the stuff on the planet is not the most interesting stuff ever, but that's also the point. They are stranded. You feel it. They are like, well, we have to live off grubs. These natives are interesting, but also kind of boring. It's actually really, it's super, super fresh and different, and never happens again. Will never happen again. But it's really good to see how they would address this, because they are bloody lucky nothing like this ever happens again, or they stay for a while, because it's like, this is the cushy offices to this, and success is good, and it ends the arc in a really big, satisfying way. They weren't the best villains, and this is a really good end song for them, and they all die horribly, and the kid dies and it's horrible, and it's a really good end for them.
It's a good summation. I do love seeing Voyager land. Seeing the crew stranded was kind of like, oh shit, how are they gonna fix this?
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. It does make the Kazon actually feel like they were supposed to be the big baddies for Voyager, and they just never really quite got there.
They were mid-bad.
This is good. Okay.
Ooh. Go for it. Throw it under the bus. I dare you.
Thinking. I remember how this made me feel. Like, being stranded is kind of a terrifying feeling.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's okay. I gotta see what else is in the other columns here.
You get the great, the really fun part one of Kazon ship over like 2 hours, attacks one shield area, takes the ship down in a very unique way, and then Paris do the exact same thing in part two in a shuttle the whole time, and he gets the Talaxians to help of all people, which is really random. And then Doctor's like, you and me have to take over the ship together, but I can't move, and you're a criminal, insane person. Who was set up? A previous episode. And a really good actor as Brad Dorff. Yeah, just really solid and just, I mean, again, super unusual. This is a very distinct, dynamic, and different episode that I don't think it necessarily reaches much glory, as in like proper like high-end glory, except like the Voyager landing and being executed so well. But it's a very memorable episode that is interesting, and you know.
I want to say A. I don't think it deserves S necessarily.
So I would say B, because I think part two, they don't aim for the stuff on the planet to be the best stuff ever. It's just interesting. So I think that stuff, it's all interesting, but it's not where it could be. So I think it should deserve a B. Cause it's probably, for me, about as interesting as Killing Game in different ways. But where the war has more, that's my gut, would be a strong B. Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel I want to be critical on this one because it's good, but not that good.
Okay. I'm game for that. Sure.
But you can override, Stu. I'm happy to be overridden.
No, I don't want to override that.
Okay. What do you guys think? I'm interested. Because the early Voyager gets maligned quite a lot by the fans. But I think there's a lot of interesting ideas going on. So I want to give it credit.
And we'll put it up here for now. But yeah, let us know in the chat what you guys think. And hit the like button. We have 36 likes, which is fantastic. 29 of you here, also great. This has been a really great live. You guys are really participating and helping us out. We appreciate it. Good discussions.
Nice chill pace, having some fun, yeah.
Hopefully you guys are having fun.
This is why we love these. These are really a show we're doing. It's interesting, because when do you ever look at the microcosm of these things in this form? Let's just compare two-parters, right? And really debate. It's really an unusual thing to do, so I'm really enjoying just the discussion.
Yeah. Okay. Feel free to chime in the chat what you guys think this one should be. Ray Rick says it should be a B. So there you go. He agrees.
Yes. Alright, who's next? What will we talk about next?
We got Not a Band account with $2. Terra Firma, Part 1 and 2. Michelle Yeoh's acting. Well, all of that is wrong. $2 is not enough.
Oh.
Discovery being mentioned and Michelle Yeoh's acting, not so great. So.
I did get reference to that, so if you want to up that with a 3, then he has to look at it. But I did get that reference, but I didn't know it was a 2. Yeah.
Right, so yeah. Fleet Pass Swiftback, member for 53 months at the rank of Commander and Moderator. Move the Garrick-centric two-parter to B. Here's why. It played a large part in the tone shift of DS9, helping to set the stage for the Dominion War. If this heavily armed fleet got annihilated, what does that mean for us?
But those, I know what you mean, but that's future stories dependent on this story, not this story itself. It's like giving Best of Both World credit for First Contact.
Yeah, but he paid to move it up, so I know he didn't move it. He didn't pay.
Well, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I know what you mean, but then a lot of stuff can be retroactively improved score-wise by that logic. Because we're kind of not looking at that in that form, which is to really keep it to the episode themselves and how they project. Because they also don't know where they're going either.
We'll take it under advisement. But you didn't pay the super chat, so we'll think about it. A Fleet Paw, $5. The Search, Parts 1 and 2, the main start of the tone shift for DS9, moving from a way station to the most important strategic outpost in the Alpha Quadrant. The Search.
Is there? I had it prepped. Huzzah!
I know. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. This one I just think it ends kind of sillily.
It's a weird one, yeah. It's a weird one.
It's just kind of, oh, okay, well. But yes, it was interesting that they were all basically prisoners and nothing that we saw was real. But then to just be like, okay, you can go. Like, they could have got so screwed there. Trying to remember everything that happened in this one. Doesn't the Defiant get...
The fact that you're having struggling is not a good sign.
I know. I just remember the ending being like, "Oh, everything I just watched is not even important because it never happened."
So this is the first Defiant episode, which is with the Romulan lady. So they get the Defiant. They say, right, we're going to take this new ship into the Gamma Quadrant to make sure that we maybe don't start war with the Dominion because that's bad. And they find the cloaking device, etc. Cisco has really terrible side console, like PVS plastic things that get replaced, luckily. Crappy supports. And then they get a space battle, which is then not real. Well, that is real. And then some of the characters leave in a shuttle pod.
Yes,
and then they get
and
picked up.
Odo and Kira escape.
Everyone freaking abandons ship as soon as it happens, and 2 are real, plot 2's fake. And you get Odo sitting around in a rather dull landscape, which ends up being hugely important, of course, but it's projected as kind of wow, you found your people. That's crazy. And we're like, this is great, cool. And it's like, what? They're the baddies, as the 2 plots connect. It's a really crazy episode, and it's sort of boring in some places because it's trying to lull you into super... Like, this is meant to be the twist. It's a double twist, of course. It's all fake, and they're the baddies. So it's meant to be underplayed until the end. And, yeah, the fact they let them go. If Changeling they had just said, you're not leaving, pew pew, we win. Like, they would have just stopped years of war and thousands of loss of lives.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting episode in that respect, but it's absolutely the prologue piece where it never quite gets particularly inciting, and it's paced really oddly.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting at the same time, and it is interesting to watch as just as a piece. 'Cause I remember I rewatched it for the Shuttle Pod because it was the first time they introduced that. Yeah, this is a weird one. What's your gut? What's your gut?
I gotta see where everything is. Hold on. Oh my god. I just remember being super confused as to how people got out and what happened, and then being like, "Oh, it didn't matter." Okay, so see, I mean, the introduction to the Defiant's cool and all, but was the Romulan lady, was she just an imaginary thing the whole time? I guess not.
Nope.
Anyway,
Never shown again. Seska.
Yeah.
You were a human, a Cardassian, and a Romulan. And a Klingon in the video game. So I would say this is a highish C.
Yeah.
But Killing Game Basics are both better for me because they're better structured stories. As I expressed, the story is meant to be weird and confusing and offbeat. So the ending works. I think it does work on what it's trying to do, but it is very much a prologue piece. And it would not work as well without the future ones because it's very much the setup. So I think a high C, but I do not think it itself is the best story. And I do remember every time I've watched this being slightly bored of the Odo stuff, of him realizing he can do more stuff with the Changeling. I know why it's important, but it's not particularly engaging for me. And Kira's like, why am I still here? I'm bored too, right? And then it ends with a rock and a door and everyone's alive. Is that what? Yeah, it's a weird ending. So I would say C.
Mm-hmm.
Respectable C, but I think it does not reach B territory.
Okay. And Fleetpaw makes the argument, well, theoretically I did pay because I paid my membership dues this month. Should we move Improbable Cause up to B?
I mean, that does make some sense.
Sure. For you, Fleetpaw, that logic is sound.
You have spocked, Stuart. You spocked him hard. Just don't spork him, it's even worse.
Sounds dirty. All right.
What?
Ray Ricks, £5. Again, another time travel episode. I loved past tense. Oh, yes, this is very relevant, considering this just happened. Yeah, this is an interesting one. They are going to Earth. They're carrying, is it chemosite? What are they carrying?
Yeah, something basic. Something really basic, yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, they... Anyway, get thrown back in time, and Bell Grant, whatever his name is,
Gabriel Bell.
Gabriel Bell. There you go. Dies. Cisco has to become him, which in the history books forever after it's a picture of him. So he must have gone his entire life with people saying, "Hey, you look a lot like Gabriel Bell." Jadzia's storyline is kind of stupid.
Well, if she'd been in Picard as the same storyline,
yes,
which I said is the most obvious thing ever, you've got a tricorder. I believe she had a tricorder, or at least a comm badge. In that era, you've got the tech. It's right there.
Yeah,
it's right there.
Clint Howard is in this.
Yes, he is.
I'm invisible. Can you see me?
God.
No. So that's a great cameo. He shows up a few times in Star Trek.
Yes, he does.
Gotta love Kira and O'Brien trying to figure it out, and it's like, okay, we only have so many transports, we have so many times we can go to. Yeah, and then the hippies. And it's pretty fun.
Your enthusiasm is coming across, Stuart.
I don't like the Sanctuary District stuff. I don't like the Jadzia stuff.
Oh, damn. That's a lot of the story, Stuart.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I like the Kira and O'Brien stuff.
It's very small.
I know. I am aware, sir.
Okay, my thoughts. Good premise, works better today because of modern we got there, and it's oddly grounded when you compare it to now, as in it makes sense. So it works better today, and it probably worked than it did back then, because it was too future-y then, even though it was very much close future. I love seeing the dynamic of Sisko and O'Brien together. That was really fresh. I remember.
I mean, Sisko and Bashir.
Sorry, Bashir, because they're not a usual pairing, and they have to be very close in this episode and work together. This is before O'Brien was Mr. Smiley Pants and before Sisko was Goatee, so they're very much their original forms, and it's fun seeing them together.
And Bashir being so naive about the past, and this doesn't make any sense, and
So I really like those pairing and how they evolve with, like, they really feel like a duo that's never really tapped into. I do genuinely quite like the stuff in this police station, not because it does anything overly interesting, but the way they commit to it, and the acting's good. And again, it's a message one. And yeah, the comedic sci-fi stuff is fun, but it's, really low key. Although I did really look at this episode a lot for the transporter room when Adrian built this set, because it's the one we'll be based on. And so I like, he sent me a version. I'm like, you missed that. That's wrong. You missed a line of lights that then scales the rest of the lights. And I was like, no, something like that. Boy, I looked over this. It's a very boring set. The corridor with the thing on it. Man, it's tricky. It's not a bad episode by any means, but it's not the most interesting, and has none of that. This is them trying to do Still on the Edge of Forever, isn't it? Like, super similar storyline, just in a different form. But it hasn't got the emotional heart. Maybe if we knew Gabriel Bell first, but that would have taken that out of the plot entirely.
Yeah. Could have done some more time with him a little bit, yeah.
Maybe it needs to be a one-parter, like On the Edge of Forever, to focus it. Because that as a two-parter would have also failed, I think. It would have been too long. Okay, I'll jump in my thought, and then you can... I would say a very respectable high to mid-C, but I don't think anything in it particularly excels to get into a B. That's my original gut. What are you thinking? Oh,
contrast. Let's see here.
Disagrees.
Well,
because Descent is much worse, right?
It is, but I don't enjoy past tense personally. I mean, story-wise, okay. I don't remember how they went back in time. They were transporting.
Oh, they were around Earth, and they just beamed through a tachyon field. That's it. Just pure accident.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah.
Little Green Men, where they go back in time, is better. That's where they're carrying the chemosite or whatever.
Yeah, but that's full character story. That's just like.
I know, but that's a way better going back in time story.
It is,
and I don't like the way this looks. It's ugly.
It is very ugly. Yes.
The station, the police station, the guards' uniforms feel very authoritarian. I don't really like that. I know that's part of the point, but.
Okay, I'm going to let you place it where you want because I think you have fair arguments, but I want to know what everyone thinks. We're not going to listen to you, but put it in where you'd put it. Because I think I appreciate a lot of the narrative stuff they've done. That's why I would say C. But I do all of your points I understand, and I can see why. And certainly it's very close with Time's Arrow in my regard, and it doesn't quite work for me. What do you guys think? Where would you place this? I think C or D. I don't think it could. It's certainly in a B, right? Yeah, that's definitely not even close.
This is one I won't scramble to watch if I need,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to my way to watch it.
And I hate you as well.
I don't like the Jadzia stuff. Like,
it is weird.
Guy she runs into is like, oh, you're friends. Da 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 da. And they did a piss poor job of predicting the future. Which is annoying.
What do you guys think? I want to know what you think. I think
we got a D, we got a C, we got D, we got a D. Give it a D and not in a fun way, right? I'm gonna put it a D for now. We'll see.
Yeah, because it's better than Descent.
I get what you're saying about a lot of it, but
doesn't make it fun to watch.
No, the best moment for me, honestly, is Miles and Kira beaming down, meeting the hippies, and also the Clint Howard cameo.
So the quick jokes.
Yes.
And as I said, I sincerely believe if this had been utilized in Picard, and we heard Cisco, because they could have got Bashir to do new lines would have sounded the same, and they could have got Dax with very similar makeup would look great, and actually link in exactly to that in Picard, and really like done the season with that. It would have been the most like DS9 doesn't get crossover love, and to literally go inside one of their episodes would have been so fun, and they could have done it. Boo. Yeah.
Well, D for now.
Yeah. No. I yeah. Yeah.
Not a hill you're going to die on. C.
No, because it's trying to do not fun things. That's all the point. I just like some of the small stuff.
Yeah. I like that it's referenced also in Little Green Men.
Yeah.
Gabriel Bell guy looks a lot like Cisco. All humans look alike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Benjamin Stone, 5 pounds. Equinox just for psychopath Robert Picardo.
I mean, this is a standout.
Yes. What would happen if another Starfleet crew with not quite the morals of Janeway did the thing? Yeah. This is also a great idea at the time because I was thinking, oh shit, we're gonna have 2 ships now. Like, that'll be cool.
It would have been.
One picture. Only have one picture for it, besides the.
No, it should be 2. Yeah,
it's got the alien.
I ran.
Oh, that was sorry.
Huh?
Yeah. But yes.
Not a band. It's 5 up or down for one place.
Yeah. So, Ransom, a man that's trying to protect his crew. He's got a small ship, small crew. They don't have holodecks. They don't have a lot of the luxuries. And they're kind of doing what they need to do to get back, much against Starfleet ideals. And the aliens are kind of neat, the interdimensional aliens.
They're great, yeah.
The conflict with... Well, first of all, meeting another Starfleet ship is like, yay, awesome, oh, this is very cool. And then the kind of the divide between them, and then there's a lot of really great stuff here. Plus, we get another Starfleet design with the Nova class.
And a really good one, too.
I know, right? I wish they wouldn't have destroyed it. I wish they would have had 2 ships for the rest of the series.
Or even just Pegasus it and have it fly into something at some point.
It's Prodigy season 2 with the Protostar and the Voyager A kind of deal, right? Or Battlestar Galactica with the Pegasus and the...
But with a shitty little ship, yeah. That can't do anything. That's broken.
Oh. But yeah,
comparative.
I mean, I love the parallels of the way Voyager handled things, the way this guy's handling things. They're both brought by the Caretaker, which makes you wonder if there are any other ships from the our quadrant that got sent there as well. But Evil Doctor. I mean, terrifying. Oh my god. His crew, they were all right, I guess. They played very well, but gotta do what the captain says, right? I like the little hologram thingies, their recreation things, which are not holodecks. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's a lot here. It's good. It's a good story.
Mm-hmm. But Yitrim says, hot take. Voyager non-2-part episodes are overall a D, but the 2-parters are overall an A. It's very harsh on Voyager. It's easily a B- show with some very strong A.
Yeah.
Blesses me. Yeah, Equinox. I mean, this is an example of everything firing on all cylinders because it's a brilliant idea for a story. It both tells the moral message of aliens don't kill aliens, but also Starfleet be bad, but also how to deal with your own crew, responsibility. It takes Janeway down the darkest path she's ever gone down, and considering this is not the Borg, this is some guy she knew vaguely who's famous, who is doing relatively small things, but to her it's the most personal thing ever, because he exemplifies Starfleet gone wrong.
Well, she sees in him what what could have happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that's a terrifying prospect.
Yeah, and he was famous for the most first contacts of any captain. Like, he's properly Starfleet royalty, and then he becomes Starfleet brutality. So it's a really good character study. And Chakotay, the old terrorist in theory, has to try and talk her down. He's like, don't do it, because she always kills officers, and it's proper brutal. But you buy it. You're really good acting by the entire cast. Mm-hmm. Ransom, really good actor to bring in. He plays it. He really truly believes in himself, because to him it's just survival, and he's used to it, and it doesn't faze him. And he really plays that to a T. The turn at the end isn't the best ever, because his acting tone stays very similar the whole episode, so it doesn't quite have the same oomph as it could have. But I get it. But that's a it makes sense. It's not my favorite, but I really believe then the second in command, the Dick, who then is so committed, he'll do anything. They work really well as a team. So the B'Elanna subplot in there with BLT is fun. It's a silly way, but it's kind of a clever idea.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
The fact that they basically invent an enhanced warp drive that takes, I think it's like a warp 7 ship, and they go to like warp 9 point something high. They almost outspeed Voyager when it's fully fueled with energy. So very clever, and shows what Voyager could do but don't. Aliens, very well done. They do not skimp on CG budget. They're in it a lot. They do a lot. They look great. The makeup on getting stunned is horrible. The way they build the new bridge and destroy it is great. The reuse of the Voyager sets to be other sets for the Equinox is great. Works brilliantly well. Space battle's pretty good, both of them. Pacing's really strong. And to be able to see them and get to know the crew as well in part 2, to wonder, because we have no idea as the audience, is it going to be a multi-part story? Are they going to be villains of season 4? Are we going to kill them? Are they going to be like, you have no idea where it's going until it goes there. Because I don't think you would have predicted as an audience Ransom will turn good and the crew will become part of Voyager. That's not necessarily the play you'd expect. Now, obviously, the Equinox crew do never play into the story ever again, which is sad, because it would have been super interesting to have seen any of them come back who lived. But yeah, I think this is absolutely an S, because it does such a good story, so well told, and just adds such good character. And I mean, honestly, this is them firing all cylinders, and it's not this giant timeline story. It's a really dark personal story. Yeah, this is a really high S for me.
I will agree with you.
We've said this on a previous live. Voyager's a very good two-parter. They very rarely miss. It's one of the best two-parters in Trek.
So, 2 of the S tier have brand new ships introduced in Voyager.
Yeah, and one's the old one. Oops. Yeah, no, I think most would agree this is one of the best Voyager stories and episodes. I think that's pretty much universally this is Voyager doing good stuff.
Yeah. Plus a new ship.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong if you're a ship holder.
Defiant. As in the original Defiant.
Yes, yeah.
So a bit cheeky, but that's okay.
All right, JW, 10 pounds. Oof.
Thank you.
Coming of age and conspiracy as a two-parter are Remick and Admiral Quinn. Remick and Admiral Quinn investigate the crew as part of the Bluegill invasion, and it concludes in conspiracy when Starfleet has been compromised. Great idea. Great suspense at the time. Watching it now, not so much. Remick is the perfect asshole. You know? Quinn, again, good admiral, I think. Some great effects. I mean, they were finding meat in the rafters for weeks afterwards when they blew up his head. The idea of and this plays into later DS9 as well, with the changelings infiltrating Starfleet. You're not quite sure what's going on or who's been infected. Mm-hmm. It's a terrifying prospect for sure. It's, I don't know, man.
Well, it's not a two-parter, first of all.
Yeah, the lead up. Yeah, exactly.
But it is also. I get the logic. I'm not going to disagree with it. It is a two-part. It does carry over. Although I don't know if they knew it was bluegills when they started it, because I would not have directly linked the storylines had it not been... Like, they don't structurally feel the same. So I wonder if that was changed mid-production. Not so a problem, just...
Well, originally the signal they sent out was to bring in what would become the Borg. So, you know, they changed it to the Borg.
Yeah.
That signal going out into space, which never gets resolved. So,
not until future Trek.
Okay, for a first early seasons of TNG, I think this is really well done, really well written.
Well, Conspiracies especially. That one is pretty decent.
Yeah.
Until the high and fire phase of fight at the end, where you can dodge them by just ducking slightly.
Yes, dodge a beam of photons.
It's tricky because this is when we get into the. It's not as bad as Descent, but is it as interesting? But is it as interesting as the stuff in C? And that's where we start to get quality versus success. Does it succeed enough to generate it more than a D? Versus what is in, because I don't think it's great, and I would still say a D.
Me too.
But just because it doesn't reach the quality of C, which is sad.
Now, if we didn't have the following seasons of TNG or these other shows to compare it to, it'd be like, hey, this is pretty great. But it suffers because of what came after it, I think.
Okay, can I roll something by you?
No.
Should we move Descent to F because it fails enough? Now, in contrast to the other two, I think we need to put that down.
I'm fine with that.
Even though I love the Beverly stuff.
There's one that I think automatically, well, no, I guess not. Let's say automatically gets an F for a two-parter, but
I just think in contrast, those other two are better and not enough better that Descent should be, yeah.
Yes. In contrast, I agree with you. Wow. All right. Ray Ricks. 5 pounds. My favorite TNG two-parter, Birthright.
Oh, yes, that's one. That's such a weird two-parter.
I see the tile for it. Where are the pictures for it?
That should be right there. Okay. So you got Birthright. This is the DS9 crossover. Birthright and Birthright, where we actually see Bashir.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bashir.
Wearing sneakers.
Wearing sneakers. Yep. Well, helps with the sound. So for those who don't remember, Worf has been told that Moog is alive by some guy at DS9. Great DS9 reference. And
Except from Cochrane, matter of fact.
Yeah, he gets everywhere. And then the rest of the part 2 is him on a Kittima survivor colony, Romulan Klingon hybrid people. He just hangs out for 25 minutes, and he sort of falls in love with the girls, kind of fancies her, but kind of doesn't. Meets a bro, kind of doesn't. They sing a bit, and it's just Klingon drama, sort of. It's weird. It's a very strange, episodes. Your thoughts?
One of my favorite parts is Data working with Bashir. I love those moments.
5 minutes, yes.
Yes. The rest is ho-hum, ho-hum. I feel like the idea is that the Romulans captured some Klingons. That's impossible. It's not, though. And now they've kind of they've resigned to their fate. Like, this is where we are now. This is how we're going to live. My God, man. This isn't as easy as you might think.
It's interesting, isn't it? So, yeah. Michael Dorn, it's really nice to see him as a lead. I like the fact that he gets so much meat here. The makeup is fantastic with all of them. I really like the set, the whole colony they had to build. I think it's a good set. I like the guest cast. I like the idea of, you're Klingon and you're Romulan, although really they're mostly Klingons, so it doesn't quite work makeup-wise, but it's fine. And yet, yeah, who do you side with? Your mum, your dad? Which side of you? I don't remember how it ends particularly. Except I think they agree to leave or something. I can't. Which is again kind of
I don't remember the ending either.
Yeah,
So
I don't remember the ending. But DS9's great. Very unusual. Like I haven't DS9. It's like oh okay, cool, sure, why not? Okay, could have gone there more then, couldn't they? Huh? No.
this one I would watch slightly over past tense.
I think but it's so.
But I'd
different.
rather watch Time Zero than this one.
Yes. Yes. Well, yes.
So it's D.
Yeah. Thing is, you need these sorts of episodes, right? That are so different and textural and give some of our cast a lead, right? It's so unusual. Did it have to be a two-parter? Probably not. Now, had Moog actually been there,
Yeah, that would have been better.
that would have been even an old guy, right? Meeting his dad, saving him or him dying, which would have been the DS9 episode, which would end up being Garrick and his dad. But that would have been an amazing twist. It would have changed the entire show, vibe-wise. But the fact he's not there makes it kind of like, and you're stuck here for a bit. It's right on the line because I think it's a lot of medium good stuff. I don't think there's anything particularly bad, so I kind of want to give it a low C. But the search is definitely better. Time's Arrow, I think they're super comparable. There's a lot of meandering in Time's Arrow, and this is all kind of meandering, but there's good dialogue. And I like the cultural stuff because we're all trying to teach some kind of heritage, which is all interesting to some extent. It's better than Conspiracy, two-parter. I like Past Tense better than you do. Right on that line. Right on that line for me. What do you guys think? I think
I'm willing to put it a C because of the crossover with DS9.
Yeah. But put next to the search though. Put a low D. Make sure it's on the second line.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Yep.
What is next? That's the Ray Rix's least favorite two-parter. So there you go. He throws in another £5. Going to complete my time travel trilogy, Future's End.
The Aeon, and more importantly, the mobile emitter. So super important episode in the grand scheme of the Trek canon. This, of course, and
Do you have pictures for it?
Yes. Oh, they're not going on. I did have them. They didn't go in. Gah. What are you doing, slides? What are you like? What are you like? Bloop. Future's End, the super inspiring title card of The Ready Room. Awesome. It's when she's playing racquetball. Super exciting. Really compelling there. Oh, god damn it. It's annoying they don't.
Let's go back to 1996. Yes.
Yes. So this is, as I said, it starts off with Voyager getting almost destroyed by time agents. First introduction of time agents. And it goes poorly, and they end up in the past instead. Because that's, I think, where they came from. Because apparently Earth in the future got destroyed by Voyager. Oh no. And they managed to take out the Aeon, which is kind of unbelievable by itself, but that's okay. Ends up in the past, Aeon's there, they're there. We see post-eugenics war. We don't acknowledge it really, but this is a rich bit, whatever. And yeah, we get to this is Voyager's very first at Earth, which is a big deal. I remember this being a big deal at the time. It's like, wow, we did a full Earth episode. And it was probably roughly contemporary. The Doctor's out. That was great. The guy plays Saxon.
Henry Sterling.
Sterling, really good. Like, just the right amount of dumb for the role. It's unbalanced as a two-parter because it fully commits to the we're in the past bit, but really the story should be the time stuff, and they don't commit to that very strong, even though they have a time ship, time weapons, time, like all this stuff, but it's not present enough. most of that stuff needs special effects, and they're like, well, but it costs enough. The stuff at the farm, the shuttle's not very interesting. It's weird. It's dumb. It doesn't work particularly well. I quite like Voyager. It's nice effects as well. Going into Earth's orbit and getting photographed to try and beam out at 20th century, and then he uses his, you know, crappy Pentium processor to hack Voyager and turn it off. Like, really, it's a silly, fun little scene that works quite well. And at the end, he f's up the timeline, and they undo it, and blah, blah, blah. It's a good storyline, not the best executed, and I'm not sure why it wasn't the best executed. That's my overall thoughts. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was very well executed. I didn't like Braxton necessarily. I like the other guy that plays him better.
Yeah, that seems better.
But Sarah Silverman was great. I love the connection that she had with Tom Paris. Even the little Easter eggs in her room, like the Botany Bay being launched. Like small little things, which were a nice touch. But overall, yeah, I mean, it opens the world up to the Doctor, essentially. Get some... Yeah,
I think this is one of their less successful two-parters because it never quite gets the hype that it should/could do. Good idea, like I said, not the most executed for me personally. Just it definitely feels like a two-part TV episode. There's nothing movie about it, which not necessarily isn't necessarily a prerequisite, but some of these do have that aspect. And they could have taken the time trip far further, and they leave it in a hanger the whole episode. Zzz, basically.
Yeah. This one I want to give a B.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I would say low B. I think it's better than stuff in C, for sure. But yeah, I think a low B. I think it gets over the line for me, but it doesn't. They could have done more and better for me anyway. But that's a lot of things, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Half an hour left, guys. We have 41 likes. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I'd like to get to 50 likes if possible. Go vote on the poll. Let's see what we got going on with the poll there. We have 73 votes. I'd like to get to 100. So if you haven't voted on the poll, please do so. We did hit 100 yesterday for our poll, which is awesome. But yes, let's see what's next. Ray Ricks, member for 30 months at the rank of Federation Council member. Amazing
Gorgeous.
Man. Past tense explored a lot of the ethos of the Federation through dialogue between Sisko and Bashir. That's the focus of the episode and highlighted the shift in humanity, which was important.
Yeah, yeah, very fair. That's why it's dialogue. It's small stuff. You know, that's a big thing, but it's the small stuff that I like about it.
Fleet Paw, $5. Dark Frontier, parts 1 and 2. We're going to raid a Borg ship, but Seven's been blackmailed by the Queen. We end up blowing the bitch up when she chases us.
Yup. Boy, write this on a napkin, you'd be like, we're doing what now? What? How much money do we have? But this they won the Emmy for. So they won full CG TV Emmy for this because it was so good. Partially because they did a lot of the movie level budget stuff. Because the Queen assembled herself, which is what First Contact did. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but it looked basically as good for TV budget. So they got awards for that. I really enjoyed the stuff with Annika and the flashbacks. I quite like the parents. I think that's all really interesting stuff and well done and sad. And you feel sad for it. I like Raven set as well. I like him dealing with, you know, all his past. Like, this is how I escaped the Borg, by having personal stopper things, which then Voyagers will use ancient tech, because this is like early TNG, like, which doesn't make sense because the Borg, but whatever. There's a slight timeline issue with that, but it's fine, whatever. And then they use them, but there's like, but we have the guy that invented them, so they never worked. Haha. So it's a really fun twist, and the Queen, played by, I can't remember her name, but Susan, she's really good. She sings in this one. She absolutely owns the role. I love when the dad is a Borg. Such a nice reveal. I like the diamond. I like the assimilation stuff. I like the like just chatting to the Queen. It never happens again. and it's here, and it's nice. It's really fun, and the fact that Janeway's the mum, and in a sense, and then the Queen's the mum, and so some really good drama there.
Don't remember much about this one.
Sorry, I remind you, there's a lot of good stuff there. There's a lot of stuff I threw at you.
I know, but as you were saying it, I'm like, okay, I remember her parents. I remember the Borg Queen was in it. That's all I got.
Okay, interesting.
So where would you rank this?
See, this is one where they went for the giant scale, but it doesn't quite achieve what they're going for. It's a visual feat, but for me, the pace isn't quite there. The structure's a little bit messy. So unlike Scorpion, where it's like they just nail the vibe, this is where the Borg are sort of nerfed, but it makes it interesting because you see a really new side to them. I would say it, in terms of effects and ambition, it's an A, but I think it slightly lets stuff down story-wise just a bit. So I'd say it's a very high B, but I think it does not get there. But it's better to me than Future's End, Killing Game, Basics, and Improbable Cause. For a lot of reasons. But I don't think it gets an A. I think it has a few shortcomings, even though it's trying really hard. It's a contrast thing, right? The ones that succeeds. This one for me isn't quite. But I would watch it again, because it's a really unique episode again.
And apparently I need to watch it again, so...
And it might sneak into a low A. I think you could argue it either one. I'd have to probably rewatch it for some subtlety. It's, again, on that line.
Okay. Not a bad account, $5. The Menagerie, Spock on trial, a previous captain of our Enterprise, and unlike modern shows, wraps up with a happy-ish, thoughtful.
There you go, Stuart. Go for it, my man.
The Menagerie. This was the show that saved Star Trek. The episode that saved Star Trek, essentially, because they needed to... They used the pilot episode of The Cage and just chopped it up. And I gotta admit, I think they did a really good job with it. I like the fact, I like when Spock steals the Enterprise. You're all like, what the hell is happening? Good look-alike for Jeffrey Hunter. Scarred face Jeffrey Hunter.
Burn-alike.
No, it was a great reuse of an unused pilot and building lore as a result of that. I think it was very well crafted and very well done. I like that Commodore Mendez turns out to be a Telosian illusion. Yeah,
I had forgotten that.
Yeah, because they didn't. Yeah. Anyway, and yes, just where's this footage coming from? They're watching it.
Yeah.
It's a just trust me. It's like, okay, we'll trust you, Spock, even though you're the one on trial. Here, watch this movie.
You watch this movie.
Yeah. Again, it's a good use of resources. You got to give them a lot of credit for that, because why waste all that awesome footage that you had for The Cage?
And in color.
Yeah, it's like the first remaster.
Yeah, because it wasn't released in color the first time, as a pilot.
Yeah.
So there's actually and obviously actually it's part 1, part 2, right? There's actually a 2-parter in the name and everything. Yeah, this is obviously a really special, unique one. I do like, and it's funny, we just saw Pike here at Vegas with his jet black dyed hair, even though he's like 75. It's a good, solid, logical, interesting episode, and for a new fan, this would have been incredible. First time, like, wow, all this backstory. Like, they filmed hot hour flashbacks? What the hell? No, they didn't. We did the other way around, but it's very clever in that regard. It does obviously cut a lot of Menagerie, which is good, because there's a lot of Menagerie.
Mm-hmm.
Spock seeing this other side to him, you wouldn't, if you're a TOS fan at season 1, up to this episode, you wouldn't, if someone said to you, I bet you $10 Spock would betray Kirk, you're like, no. So therefore it pays off really well, as you said, in that regard. Of course, the burns is super iconic with the bleeps, that works really well. But it's still best to see for me. Because it's fine, it's good, it's decent, but it ain't doing anything special. on its own, really.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I'll give it a C.
What train were you on?
It's like Shades of Grey. They filmed how many minutes of actual new footage? No, it's fine. I'm just looking at the ones above it and seeing whether I'd rather watch the Menagerie than a lot of this stuff just because it's TOS. But that's not a fair assessment.
It isn't, no.
I'm happy with a C, honestly.
Yeah. Hey, Trekyards.
Sure, I'm fine with that. That's fine.
Guys, with 16 more minutes, we'd love to get another 3. We can put these in the buffer for next time, guys, but 3 would be tremendous, really, really tremendous. So let us know. Next one, Stuart.
Next one is Fleet Paw with $10. Homefront. Paradise Lost from DS9 Season 4. It was going to be bigger, but I don't know what that means. Ate up 90% of the budget. Someone's been tinkering with the phasers. There's a lot of firepower for the Excelsior class ship.
Star Trek War of the Worlds? What?
I don't know what's happening there. Yeah. We talked about this one yesterday in the best battles with the Lakota. Changelings are on Earth. So Cisco and Odo go to Earth and try to suss out what is going on. I love that Odo was like, hey, I was a plant thing or whatever the hell he was in the president's office. I could have killed you. Seeing Cisco in the TNG uniform is great as well. We get Leah Brahms as not Leah Brahms. She's a star.
She's so obvious. Like, not even. Yeah.
I love the Admiral, who turns out to be a changeling. The fact that he runs into Miles O'Brien and says, "What would you think if I told you that there were only 2 changelings on Earth?" It's like, do you trust them? Do you not?
Does it even matter? Because he's here.
Yeah, this is it's a fantastic 2-parter. Really great stuff, and stuff you never saw before or since. And that's Cisco in that TNG uniform. Looks great, by the way.
I also think, based on current... Okay, the way you would shoot this today, people would complain it was too dark.
Probably.
But
yeah, because this is Bashir as a changeling, who's they're doing the blood samples and stuff, and he's tricking the blood samples by... Because this is changeling Bashir.
Probably.
I believe so, yes. If I recall correctly.
Because the main one with the blood is the Defiant one, where they're stuck on the Defiant trade after this, I'd assume. Because a lot of this episode, this 2-part, is a lot of it is Cisco's dad in his restaurant. That's a large chunk of this episode.
It is, yes.
And also Nog's. Welcome back, Nog.
Yeah, it is kind of cool to see Earth under siege, essentially, and I get so frustrated at his dad. I don't want to submit the blood samples. Just fucking do it. It just frustrates the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I get you're a stubborn old asshole, but he's
portrayed as the good guy in that scene, kind of.
I know, but I would be so frustrated. I was as frustrated as Cisco was. Let's put it that way. As Ben was, sorry, because they're both Ciscos. But
yeah, this is again hyper unique in so many ways. The fact this got a nice little space battle is good, and Worf captaining is great. Really good casting on the Admiral, because he's a charming mother effer until he isn't. But the thing is, he thinks he's doing good guy things for good guy reasons and good guy ways. There's no badmiralness here, which is why it's super interesting. He's just, I need to get martial law, so I can save Earth. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no weird agenda here. It's super clear. Same thing with the captain. I'm just going to follow the orders because I know this. As I said, there's a change on the Defiant, and there might be. In fairness, there might be. Odo is interesting on Earth, being sort of abused by them a little bit because he kind of has to be because they have to be found and whatever. But him being a bird's great, and then also the contrast of like this is a good changeling, and they never quite go on all changelings are bad, but it's like it's interesting to see them their tone of like he's technically the baddie,
yeah,
but also we like him and he's helping us. And there's no ill will here, but also this is weird, really interestingly framed. I love he goes back to TNG uniform for the sake of it. Just such a weird thing to do in the canon of Trek. Like, oh, I'm going to go back a uniform step because I guess Earth isn't updated yet. It's a weird one, but it's really fun to see the contrast, as you said. And it's just so fun. They just we're just going to head to Earth to back up our captain. How far is that? Like 2 weeks of high warp?
Yeah.
Let's go!
I'm a shoe thing for sure,
but it's also kind of fun. It's a really unique thing to do.
Yeah. And I love the worry of like what's going to happen to the Defiant out there right now.
Yeah.
Because apparently the Defiant's full of changelings, everybody.
Could be.
It's got to be destroyed.
And the dad, great actor. I think there's a bit too much for the dad, and it's a bit too real. As you said, the blood screen bit. But it is compelling television, and it's really well acted. And it absolutely shows a different side of Ben. It'd have to, right? And Nog is an unusual ad, but it makes sense, and he's a good addition. That works better knowing he's back in later seasons. Had it been the Wesley, where, hey, look, it's the Wesley Academy episode. And gone again. So it works best because he's going to be a big player later. But I don't think, even though it does a lot of great, I don't think there's much that it excels at in a way that other ones excel. For example, the bit where they finally have martial law and these officers beam into the Federation streets, it's the cheapest looking standing lot, 6 people, and they beam out. It doesn't have the scale that the situation does, so it feels like a TV show with good actors. It never reaches a movie scale that a lot of the other ones do. So I think that really brings it down a bit. As an overall quality piece, right?
Yeah. For me, this one would probably be an A. It doesn't quite reach the level of S, but it's super enjoyable. It's super well written. There's a lot of fantastic interactions between Sisko and his dad. You learn a lot about them. The tension for the Defiant and the Lakota battle is palpable. Meeting the president and having the president kind of being not sure what to do because he didn't really want to be the president.
Well, he's a peacetime president as well.
Yes, and he's not geared to make these sort of decisions. So to see his indecision and to see the whole process behind that, I think this is at least an A quality one. I don't think it quite reaches the level of S, but that's my vote.
Yeah, I think this thing, it tries to be several layers of secret sauce, but it doesn't quite reach the secret sauce. Like, the mix isn't quite perfect. But that's the whole point, right? The perfection is really, or the top is really high. I think this is, for me personally, the highest B and stepping into A. So I think it is an A, but it does a few things that I don't, like, I wouldn't, it's not my favourite to watch, but I love the quality. So it, like, personal preference maybe close to B, but I think it is writing and conceptually it's an A, but certainly I wouldn't give S for it. I think it does deserve a low A, but I love that it's there. It's a really good one to be there.
Yeah. Not as Star Trek-y as it could be. Seeing Earth is just kind of like
even though it is
real street. I know.
It's weird. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Glad we agree on that.
Yeah. All right.
This is so incredible. There's 2 Voyagers and Enterprise in S, and 2 DS9s in A.
Yeah.
And I love how they've all got unique colours and fonts. I never quite realised that. Super easy to work out what's what.
Yeah.
Damn. Super interesting.
Fleet Path throws in $2. Quasi-Cardassian totalitarian.
Yes.
Ray Ricks, £5. I feel truly sad that we have no disco here. Oh, fuck. I love you, Ray. I really do. Such sweet sorrow.
I don't even remember which one that is. I'll be honest. Is that the end of 2? Probably. Yeah, okay, it is. Oh dear.
What is it? What happened? I don't even...
It's the control of it's the Enterprise plus Discovery with 5,000 pew-pews against Control. We were very, very happy to see Enterprise. That's what it was. It was happy to see Enterprise. And they almost blew up Discovery, which again, we were very happy to almost see, and then they didn't do it. And the bloody redress sets were just painted, and it's like, oh okay.
But 5,000 drones
Yep.
against 500 shuttles that launch out of the back of the Enterprise. What?
Yep.
Okay. Spectacle-wise, interesting. I mean,
where the hell's the title sequence? I'm searching. I can't even find it. God damn. There it is. It's 14 minutes in. God damn it. Sorry.
They try to do something spectacular, and I guess they did for a new modern audience. Logic-wise, it just falls apart in so many places. Visually, it's quite cool. This is also, I believe, where the Enterprise gets hit with a torpedo that blows off the front of the saucer section. But
interior torpedo doesn't get hit. I mean, it's already in the ship and it blows it through. Yeah.
Yeah. But it blows out the front part of the saucer and doesn't destroy the door that's right beside it, because the door is built from unexplodium, I guess. Indestructible, I don't know, some kind of alloy.
The goddamn ship out of that, you idiots.
And we kill off Admiral Cornwall, one of the best things about Discovery. You had to kill her off for some reason, but anyway.
We also built the Red Angel suit in Discovery in half an hour with just the what's it called? Just the bulkheads in 20 minutes. And also went through a time hole with the shuttle bay door open. And the entire crew decided to go with them for no reason. And Yum, as whatever her name is, decides to brag about trying to kill Leland, who is not the Borg, don't worry. And we get the Enterprise with a turbo lift with a corridor around the bridge for some reason. And we get look at these orange banisters. They're red, Michelle. Ignore the script. They're red. And we get Saru's sister flying in Ba'ul fighters that she learned in 20 minutes somehow, and now they can fight a space battle and also warp there. And we also get the Cleave ship coming in with some D7s and the Rel's final appearance in a crappy bridge set, which isn't very good.
It's epic on a grand scale, don't you know? I should save it. I should give it an S.
And none of the Section 31 ships fire, even though all of their ship-mounted weapons would beat the drones' weapons, and just shoot the ships, you'd win. There's 30 of them. Just shoot them. Why are you saying drones? I guess they are drone ships, but just fire the normal torpedoes. You'd be fine.
Do you have the title card?
Where is the title card? I can't see them in these things. Yeah. No. Unhelpful as I know, I couldn't find it by either times. Yeah, the Red Angel one. Yay. What else is bad about it? Oh, the first part's interesting because they almost destroyed Discovery, and then it turns out that the sentient AI on the ship says no, which is interesting. But they commit the first 15 minutes for that. What else?
Spock and says goodbye to Michael.
And Michael's the one that tells him that you must find a human friend to be friends with, and therefore giving Michael the entire impetus while Spock and Kirk are friends. The entire impetus.
Fuck.
Takes all the power away from that. And then we see him at the end as emo, from emo Spock to normal Spock, which is fun, but not good eyebrows. And yet Cornwall dies. The horrendous door you can't justify. There's nothing you can do to justify that. It makes no sense. It's pathetic and ridiculous and an unnecessary death, of course. And Leland gets destroyed in the spore chamber and melted because Giorgio likes murder. There's so many problems with this two-parter. I think the battle's super boring. Some of the shots are nice visually, but a lot of them are just noisy, messy trash.
Visual noise, yeah.
It doesn't matter. And you could have saved months of rendering, give or take. It's so messy. We did get 2 shots of blue phasers, though. Man, this is a whole different scale. The weird thing is, every episode we've looked at has a scale of quality of characters and story and development. This is such a difference. I don't know how I feel about it. How do you guys feel about this? Because I feel away.
It's like it shouldn't even be judged with these other ones. It's got its own
scale.
Yeah.
It's just non-comparable. It has very little character work that's interesting. It has very not. Remember, Control's a sentient AI from the future. It's not sentient or AIing, but it's a sentient AI clearly from the moment it steps aboard, stop from being it. But it's already wrong, clearly.
Would you rather watch this over Descent?
No.
Which is more exciting?
No. Because I like Law's acting. And I like a lot more of Descent is interesting. A lot of this is just shit and noise. And why the fuck is there a recorder on the bridge? Why are there shuttles going out the? Why are there?
Oh yes, don't change the bridge layout, guys. What the fuck?
I mean, it's got to be an F. It has more problems, structural and plot problems, than Descent, Past Tense, and Conspiracy put together. And these are all two-parters, so it has more plot holes than 6 other episodes of Trek. So many more problems from so many other ways. Wow.
Thank you, Ray Ricks.
Yeah.
It was such a great live until the end here.
Wow.
Speaking of, we're in the last 5 minutes, so I'm probably going to close out the poll right now.
Yes.
We have 86 votes.
Oh, wow.
Who did the best 2-part stories? Only 2 parts. Voyager wins with 34%. I think that's a good assessment. Then DS9, which had, well, to be fair, a lot of them are more than 2 parts. So, yeah. TNG and then Enterprise.
Poor Enterprise. It got slapped.
Pull it off the board below. Here, I'll do this. Do this thing that we do.
Oh, yes. And it's funny because it has many good bits, but it has so many plot holes, it's unreal. Like, I'm sure they've rushed it out, whatever, and blah, 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 but it's just like, just, you know.
Well, guys, this is another one we're going to have to revisit because there are more 2-parters to look into.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. This has been really fun.
Yeah.
Really interesting debate.
41 likes. If you haven't hit like yet, please do so. But
thanks, Dave.
I think we're going to call it there because I do have to go.
Yes, indeed. A lot of fun.
But it was fun. It was a fun discussion. More fun than I anticipated it to be. I wasn't quite sure what we'd have to talk about necessarily. And here, look at all the stuff you guys put in there. Yeah. It was awesome. And there's still a lot you missed, of course.
Yeah, well, yeah. It might not make a 3-part out of this, but certainly a 2-parter. Yeah, I mean, you guys didn't throw any from Picard or any from Lower Decks or any from Stranger World. I mean, you ignored everything modern.
I love how you got like the first of a certain show and the last of a certain show, but not the one that I said I immediately thought of every time somebody mentions a Star Trek 2-parter.
Which is funny because that was the thumbnail as well.
All right.
I was going for obvious ones. Yeah, but I have so many that I prepped that I'm not done, which is great for next time.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't hit like yet, please hit like on your way out.
Oh, plenty of them do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And clean up after yourselves. And we will see you next time, which will be next week. So until then, he's Commander Calkins.
He is the ever amazing Captain Foley too.
See you guys later.
Bye, guys.